What's up, everybody? Welcome to Vets Talkin. Welcome to a very special Knife Hands here on Vets Talkin. Fucking A, man, Jake Angeli. Okay, that's the first thing I need to ask you because we've all known you as Jake-Chansley. And even when I knew you back in Arizona, that's what you had on your Facebook. Where does the Angeli come from?
Well, I have a hyphenated last name.
Okay.
So my last name is Angeli-Chansley. And Jake Angeli just rolls off the tongue so much easier than Jacob Chansley or Jacob Angeli-Chansley. It's just easier to say Jake Angeli.
Good, fair enough. Except for that, across board, obviously you are now infamous, and everyone has known you as Jake-Chansley. I don't think they ever put Angeli in your name at all, but nonetheless.
Oh, they did awesome. Actually. They did in some of the paperwork, and some, I think a time or two on television and in court. But you know, the thing is that the media likes to spin it to where they got the inside info. They say he goes by Jake Angeli, but that's not his real name. His real name is Jacob Chansley, and it's like, you know, and this goes to show the media is full of shit.
Yeah, I saw one of those articles too. Like I said, when I was looking up pictures of you to put on the freaking thumbnail, I saw some things of them saying that, oh, sometimes he goes by this and sometimes he goes by that. Now, so yeah, you're saying they're fucking full of shit. So, all right, let me go around and say hi to some people. Horny Alf, haven't seen you in a hot minute. How you doing? Now official Air Force veteran retiree.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. We haven't done a group chat like this in a while, but yeah, I've been doing my thing on my channel, streaming about 5 times a week, doing gaming streams. You can also catch me on Twitter, doing my pop culture and politics posts throughout the day. But yeah, I'm glad to be back. Yeah, 20-year veteran, Air Force. Now I'm working as a contractor for the government.
Making the good money. That's fucking awesome, dude. I'm happy as hell for you, buddy. And not a veteran, but happy to have her back, especially after the last time where she became our 5th member of the Wall of Honor, staying on and drinking with us the whole way. And she's got her sparkling wine with her again. Courtney.
Hello. I'm ready to party tonight.
Yeah. All right. I like the sound of that. Hell yeah. I did hear on your stream that this time you managed to eat food ahead of time, and I have been trying to stress to you, you do not need to go shot for shot with us again.
Well, last time I did realize that I was like gulping and not treating it like a half shot situation. Yeah. I was instead like, sorry, some ASMR for you.
ASMR.
But so you know, I just this time I don't need to gulp it, and I will also, you know, I've got my water handy. I've got some things covered, and who knows? I mean, at the end of the day, if I put myself in another terrible situation, then that's my own damn fault. So there is that.
I felt very bad that I was on your birthday show the very next day, and you were so hungover. I felt really bad, and you kept telling me, "Don't blame yourself. It's not your fault." Like, yeah, it kind of is.
Oh man, listen though. You know what? I cried for an hour because of how much I love my country, and that wouldn't have happened if I wasn't so hungover. And so
I love that. I love it. That's awesome. By the way, speaking of water, I just got this one of these gallon drink in a day jugs, and I will say that it's absolutely true. If you actually hold up to this, you will just be pissing all day long, like non-fucking stop. Today I took it easy because I knew I had to do the show, and I was not going to be getting up out of this chair every 5 minutes. So, especially because we have an awesome guest, like I already said, Jake Angeli-Chansley, known by some as the Qanon Shaman, but I know that is not your name. But we did meet back in 2020 when you and me were going to the Stop the Steal rallies around Phoenix and whatnot. And I ended up going to the Capitol on Jan 6 as well. Not the Capitol building. I was there at the speech. I was at all the other things. I ended up separating from my team. They went to the Capitol building. Thankfully, they're okay too. But I ended up going back to the hotel. I never even knew you were there, dude. And holy fuck, that was very surreal to all of a sudden see you all over the fucking news. I tried reaching out to you on Facebook because we were friends on there, but obviously I'm assuming that the feds must have shut down your Facebook page. But how you doing, man?
Doing well. I'm glad to be out of prison. So,
yeah. I mean, I guess you're out of physical jail, but still, with all the shit you're going through, I guess you're still kind of in another kind of jail right now, right?
well, it's another form of controlling my behavior. I can't leave the state without PO approval. I also have to report my financial, earnings every month to my PO. But my PO is actually like, my PO is a good guy. I don't really have an issue with the system as much as I have an issue with corruption, and my PO is not a part of that system, at least not that I can tell, and at least not, he's not hassling me or anything. So I try to look on the bright side. The way I look at it is I can either be a victim or a victor, and I'm going to be a victor every time. So I'm just glad to be out of jail, dude. Solitary confinement sucks. Prison sucks. And just being able to be out and be home or see my dog, hang out with my family, go on a hike, make my own food. These things are treasures beyond imagining.
Yeah. All things that everyone takes too much advantage
Granted.
of.
No, well, they take it for granted. Now, this is what's
for granted. Good, yeah.
that. What's interesting about that, though, is that what happened to me is a perfect example of how it can happen to anybody. That the media can choose to sensationalize your image. They can say all sorts of stuff about you that isn't true. They can get away with it. Then that narrative can then be used by the government and almost like as an excuse by the government to then go after somebody in an extraordinarily intense fashion when it doesn't necessarily warrant that. But because the media has played it up, now the government has to, right? And how it is that your life can get turned upside down and you thrown in a cell like that if this apparatus comes after you.
Yeah. And I mean, no doubt. So the guys here, they love fucking with me a lot. So they love saying that because I was at Jan 6, that I must have been a Fed. And every single time they say, oh, well, he was at Jan 6, I got to say, I was not at the Capitol building because it is so serious that anyone who was there finds himself to get a knock at the fucking door. So, like, I'm okay with people making a joke, but it's like sometimes people don't realize how serious this is. I mean, anyone's there who's getting investigated, and you say the wrong thing on YouTube and think it's a joke. Next thing you know, like I said, you're getting that knock on the fucking door, and it's all intimidation. Yeah, they just want to silence us. Is all it really fucking is. And
it's I think also about creating an atmosphere of fear.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, it is. They want us to be afraid, and by being afraid, that means they keep us obedient. So yeah, they don't want us to stand up. They don't want us to, root for Trump. That's why they call everyone who's MAGA an extremist, because they just want us to shut the fuck up. That's it.
Well, and they, more than anything, really just they want us to comply, which is why non-compliance with tyranny is the ultimate statement of freedom, which is why non-compliance suffocates the fire of tyranny. Because it is the ultimate way of saying, no, you don't rule me, you don't run me, I am self-governed.
Right. Absolutely. I love the conversation's already off to a great start, but I got to get through here. We're going to say hi to some of this chat, and we got a lot to talk about, man. I've been wanting to ask you so many questions since 2021, man. All right, let's get through here. Yo Pops popped in right at the beginning. What's up, Yo Pops? If you're in here, I hope you're coming back. Captain Miserable popped in here, but they didn't allow it to pop up on the YouTube side, but I can still see it over here.
Isn't every captain miserable?
Isn't every
in the military? Yeah.
In the military, yeah. So thank you, Courtney, and your tits for getting people over here. Appreciate it.
Yes. Hi, Captain Miserable. Thanks for rejecting me.
Let's see. I got apparently. Oh yeah, that's right. That's what this is. So I'm actually a little burnt out right now because I finally got up our first video, Paranormal Investigation. Ghost Hunt I did Tombstone, Arizona last year. I edited the shit out of it. It looks fantastic. It is up on on Vets Investigating Paranormal. I am very burnt out. My brain is fucking fried right now. Okay, but I'm sure I took some caffeine, so hopefully I'll be able to get back into it. So guys, check that out if you can. I'll play a little bit of the intro to that here in a little bit and show you guys what we got going on over there. And Blue Cord. What's that?
May I ask you a question? I just want to make sure we get back to the fact that you did a paranormal investigation. So let's make sure we talk about that in this discussion. Okay.
I figured that's something you would be intrigued about. Hell yeah. All right. Blue Cord Devil starting things off right with a 20.
Uh-oh.
Thank you, Blue Cord. Before I do this, let me explain because I know we got a lot of people in here who are not familiar. We do always play our drinking game rules here. Let me get the better one up. Drink game rules always apply. Any single super chat do social and $20 or more, and we do shots. And that's what got Courtney there extremely hungover for her birthday last time she was on. So again, we had the thing starting off. Wait, I lost it. Where'd it go? Here we go. It has begun. Prayers for Florida and Georgia tonight as this hurricane makes full landfall. Yeah, no, I texted Fear the Beardo to check if he's okay, and he never got back to me. So hopefully he's okay. All right, let's get things started off right. And I'm messing up all the fucking buttons and tabs. Here we go.
It has begun.
Cheers to you, Blue Cord. See, I was about to say Beardo and instead of Blue Cord. My brain. Gonna be all night.
Cheers to both of them.
Cheers to your brain.
Yes, cheers to your brain.
My brain needs it, apparently. All right, I got this weird guy, this horny guy in the chat. Blue Cord Devil again, of course. Bubba motherfucking Ford, yo. Let's see. Party Harmonica. Let's go. Hey, who ate my crayons, bastards? Well, we don't have any Marines here right at the moment. So no crayon eaters here. Sorry about that. Scotty, our machine dummy, he's a regular Marine, but he's really not into politics. I didn't even bother to ask him. It's amazing. I went to so the place where his girlfriend works, Jake. I'm like assuming because I know they're all like they're on our side politically, but apparently none of them keep up with the news at all. So I was proud that I was gonna have you on. So I'm like, hey, you know this guy? I'm gonna have him on a show. They're like, who is that? Every single person, like no one knew who you were, and I'm sure you have no problem with that. Because I assume everyone knows who you are by now. But
they're too busy working and taking care of their families, you know?
Yeah.
Which is important.
That's absolutely it. Let's see. We got Hillary over on the Rumble side. It says, hey, Jake, good to see us. Finally able to attend these to watch. Yeah. Welcome. Michelle Romero. Wow, you guys are already trying to get us drunk. That's fucking great. Shellback Stunts is over on Rumble as well. Welcome. Let's see. KV, what's up? Free the Jan 6s. I know, man. I know. Do you know how many off the top of your head? How many are still in jail, Jake?
Still in jail. Well, that really all depends. Like, are you talking about that have already been sentenced or that are awaiting sentencing?
Oh, there's still that too. Yeah. Anybody
some people that are still in jail and have not gone to prison. They're awaiting trial, and they still haven't gone to trial, and it's been like 3 years.
Fuck. I mean, at this point, those people should get time. Right? Those people should get time served, right? If eventually they do.
But it counts to their sentence. But here's the thing: if you just piss off the judge or you piss off the prosecutor, right, and you end up going to trial, and then your max is 5 years, they're going to give you 5. Your max is 20 years, they're going to give you 20. So, and the other thing you got to remember is that jail sucks way worse than prison. As funny as that sounds, and being in a jail for 3 years. That's like being in a foreign prison, especially the DC jail.
Yeah. Because I've heard that, because yeah, they don't give any amenities there. Yeah, in prison, when people are there for 20, 30 years, at least they got like access to TV, computers, and all kinds of shit like that, right? Whereas
Well,
in
kind of computers and definitely no internet.
oh well, yeah. Oh, I mean, at some, not obviously not a federal prison like you were in, but you've heard about how cushy some of these places can be, though.
Oh yeah, especially in foreign countries like France. You know, oh my gosh, their prisons are like a resort.
Oh. Well, good to know. I guess
maybe it was France. It might have been somewhere else. It's somewhere in Europe. I mean, it might have been Europe, Norway, or some shit.
Let's go start an insurrection in France.
Dude, they just voted out Macron, and you saw what they did. They're like, "Oh, we know you didn't mean it. We know you like communism, so we're just gonna hold another election."
Of course, yes. Oh god.
Well, I mean, I hate the French anyway, so sign me up.
I've actually met a number of them. They're very interested in my story, so they're good people as far as I can tell. They, they definitely have different customs, but I mean, they did help us in the Revolutionary War. They are against the monarchs in Britain, so.
Well, and we helped them in World War II, and then they turn around and spit on us. Like, you go over there, dude. It is not friendly. I say this, people I know. I was stationed in Italy for 3 years, and Italians can be very stuck up. Well, at least around our military base, we were in Vicenza, Italy, and they hated us because we were stupid Americans, and we get drunk and we get into fights. Go to other parts of Italy, and they are all right. But I've talked to plenty of people who actually go to France, and it's like, nah, they hate your guts.
But Adam, are they wrong? We do get drunk and get into fights.
I wasn't denying that part. Just saying they didn't
they're
like
wrong for disliking that culture, okay? That's where they're wrong.
It was until we deployed to Iraq in 2003 is the first time the whole unit left. Then when they realized that when we were gone for a year and all the money from the bars disappeared, they loved us when we came back. Oh, thank God you're back. We can make money again.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, let me roll through these chats. I love seeing all the new people here. What's up, independent, free thinker, outlaw, all parties. I like that. Let's see, that's Bubba again. Alec Baldwin's fingers in the chat, buddy. Come on and hop in, man. We got the chat is the link is in the chat.
He never misses.
He never misses. He never misses. Dr. Gold, Michelle Romero, and fucking hell. All right, hold on. We got Samuel the Infamous in here, who infamously loves dropping super chats.
Uh-oh.
Oh, drinks.
Samuel the Infamous for 20. Says, Jake spoke briefly with a Brit friend of mine, California, on Twix, Twitter space. He did earlier this year. Cool. Jake, I know you've been making the rounds, dude.
Yeah, I'm doing my best with what God gave me.
Yeah, well, and Courtney here let me know. I didn't even know that you knew Chrissy Mayer and that you were on her show, The Wet Spot. Yeah, I checked out
Simcast, not Wet Spot.
Oh, Simcast, right?
Yeah,
right.
yeah. We were simping pretty hard. I remember that.
Yeah, Chrissy Mayer's awesome.
Yeah, and that's crazy because we're in the same YouTube sphere, along with Nerdrotic and Geeks and Gamers and all that. And Chrissy is actually, I've been communicating with her. She's supposed to come here to Lake of the Ozark at some point. Apparently things have changed now. She had the baby. She's going to come on this show sometime too. So maybe we'll have to have you come back on when she comes on, dude.
Cool. Yeah, sure. I'm glad she's doing well.
Yeah. She popped out the kid and she's doing very well. Oh my God, Clinton, fuck. All right, maybe eventually we'll actually get around to talking to you, dude. But before we do that, let's watch a Joe get hit in the nuts.
Quick, baby!
Wow. Cheers.
I felt that one, man. I felt that one.
Yeah, cheers to his nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Life
in the barracks, man.
Perfectly, man. Oh, yeah, I know, right? Like, get a bunch of men together and see what happens, you know?
Just fucking hitting in the nuts and all kinds of weird shit.
We're simple creatures, easily entertained.
Yes. And now I can't remember if it was just backstage or I haven't mentioned it yet. I found out that you're in the Navy, so we're definitely talk about that. You know, so often to get a lot of people who come on who aren't military and they always think, oh, I feel like I shouldn't be on there, but you actually, one, we bring on plenty of non-vets. I always say you don't gotta be a veteran. Don't get butt hurt. You've been warned, but you actually are a vet, so that's fucking dope as shit, man. And the circumstances of your discharge are pretty amazing, especially considering today and with the pandemic and the jibby jab, and we'll get around to that. Oh, first let me keep on going here. Zul McCool, what's up? And Chris Thompson dropped to $2. Thank you. Looking good, Courtney. Ooh.
Hi, Chris. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chris.
Doug,
Appreciate you. Yeah. And also, guys, do not forget, I do have the Stream Element bot running. It does have the Rumble channel link on there. We may switch over to strictly on Rumble. We are streaming on Rumble and YouTube right now. And we already talked that there's a couple things we're going to have to be a little bit careful about saying here on YouTube, and we may go to Rumble exclusive later on. So if you can, go ahead, get on there, click that link, subscribe, and check it out over there as well. Please.
The doggo.
Oh, got the puppy with the puppies.
Yeah, she's got a cough,
Ah, poor thing.
Oh.
so trying to keep her from honking in the background.
Hillary behind the camera Johnson, what's up? How you doing? Let's see. Chris Thompson, what's up? Andy Pickle, KV, Zul McCool. Oh man, God, so many new people. Thank you all for being here. This is fucking dope. Hardy Harmonica, I think I already said hello to you, but hello again. Sacramento Kings Johnson channel, what's up? Hey Jake, it's Dave.
What's up?
Somebody you know?
Yeah, well, they go to my the meditation, the guided meditations I do on every Saturday on Twitter on the space I do. They go, they're regulars. They're and they also wrote to me while I was in prison. So David and Hillary, nice to see you. Glad you can attend.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. Yeah, thank you all for being here. Appreciate all of you. If you haven't already, please, if you're enjoying what we're doing here, double tap that like and subscribe would be greatly appreciated. As well as all the super chats. Clinton House with 5 gifted memberships. That is 5 new members of the Tropic Thunder membership for $25. Thank you very much. How you feeling coming onto a show that just drinks all day, all night, and you don't drink there, Jake?
Well, you know, everybody picks their poison, I suppose.
It's how I make my money is by pimping my liver, apparently. So with that, let's watch Commander get a concussion on a tank. You know that had to hurt. Thank you, Clinton. All right, how many more super chats do I have left here? Okay, that's the last one for now. All right, cool. All right, let's get around to this. Dude, and sorry if I missed anyone. Thank you guys so much, but we definitely got to get rolling. We've been going for 24 minutes already. Holy shit. Thank you guys so much. I love everyone over here on YouTube and Rumble. And that's it, guys. Have a great night. No. Jake, my dude. Again, thank you so much for being here. It's amazing what you had to go through. I know that you got sentenced to 41 months, but spent 20 something,
27 behind bars, 29 in federal custody,
and 10 months in solitary confinement.
10 and a half.
Fuck, dude. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that half really makes a difference. I'm
It
sure
does.
every fucking day.
It does. That first 2 weeks is really hard. Don't forget about that. Just like the last 2 weeks can be hard too.
What was their excuse for putting you? Did they actually give you an excuse? I know, same thing like Chrissy said. I don't want to have to ask you all the same questions you've probably been asked a million times, but I haven't seen your interviews, and I'm so genuinely interested to hear what you went through, and to also have you explain to the audience, what this left. I know we shouldn't go with the paradigm, but what this evil side of our government. Let's go with that. The evil side of the government, what they're willing to do to people. To get their agenda out there. So that's why I really want to talk to you. So what initially, like I said, with the solitary confinement, did they give you an excuse, or was it for your protection? What was it that went on?
Well, it started out as for COVID, and then it turned into, because I was so high profile, it was for my safety. I don't know how real that concern was, because when I was transferred to other locations, I was put in general population, but only when I was being detained, like in a specific area, like Alexandria, Virginia, the Alexandria Detention Center, was I to be in solitary confinement. So it just makes me wonder, did COVID or my safety go out the window when I was in Oklahoma or in Colorado with general population? And in Colorado, I was actually in a medium security prison, which I based on my my score, my recidivism rate, I should only been in a low security prison. So but I was in general pop over there. So my safety goes out the window, COVID goes out the window. I don't know. I think it's because they wanted to make an example, but at the same time, I'm trying not to attribute to malice, but what could be attributed to stupidity.
Yeah. Well, obviously, the way the news cycle ran, on our side of the political aisle, it was everyone's understanding that they're doing that to punish you and to set an example. Like we were saying earlier, the entire January 6th committee, the punishment for everyone who went to the Capitol building, it is more to create fear on our side of the political aisle more than anything else. It just wants to shut up and follow the rules, follow their guidance. And I am firmly in the belief that you were being used as a political pawn and a political prisoner as well. What is your thought on that? As I bring Mo in here, what's up, Mo? What is your thoughts on that? When somebody says that you're a political prisoner, what is your opinion on that?
I mean, all depends on how you look at it. I would say that to a certain extent, there's validity to that. To a certain extent, there is not. I broke the law. Now, the extent to which I broke the law is up to debate. And based on the way that the government was going after me and every other J6er they've gone after, it seems that there is political bias behind this exercising of the government's monopoly on force and the locking up of somebody and taking away their rights. So in that regard, you could say, yeah, I was a political prisoner, but I don't see myself as a political prisoner, just like I don't see myself as a victim. I don't see myself as, anything that the media has called me. I'm much, much more than any label could ever put on me.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I was listening to you, but I got so distracted by this comment here, and I had to frantically look it up. Somebody's saying that ballistic missiles just got launched into the U.S. target Trump. They got brought into the U.S. across the border to target Trump. I don't think they've been launched yet. They just order, according to what. Now think about that for a second, because the Democrats for 4 years during Trump, 5 considering when he was campaigning, and even afterward, have been saying that there's foreign interference in our elections, Russia, knowing the whole time that it wasn't true. Now we actually have very real foreign threats overtly attempting to influence our election process, and the Democrats are crickets. Absolutely, dude. That's 100%. And I mean, and they're not even just complicit in it. We know damn well they are intentionally antagonizing people to do this. When you say that he is an actual threat to our democracy, that he's a dictator, that he will destroy our country, he'll tear up the Constitution, he'll send out SEAL Team 6 to eliminate political rivals, they're not that dumb to think that they're going to rile people up to try to kill him when you create him in that image. They're not that stupid.
It's neurolinguistic programming. So what they're attempting to do is engage the primal and subconscious portions of people's brains so as to control their conscious perception of reality by using these trigger words and these trigger images and placing these ideas in their minds. That, coupled with things like movies in Hollywood and stuff like that, give their subconscious mind enough material to play with to create whatever scenario in their imaginations they need to hate Donald Trump or his supporters.
Yeah. I spent 5 years in psychological operations in the Army, and what you just hit on there is 100% accurate. There's a lot of subtleties that we would get taught to use when we were in psy-op But the subtleties with these people they're just gone. There are no real subtleties, which is why all of us on this side of the political aisle, we see what they're doing. But unfortunately, their side has been so brainwashed at this point, it doesn't matter. It does not matter for them. They're just fucking warped. So whatever they hear, like you said, with trigger words, with everything else, it's just they're brainwashed. There's no other way around it. They're fucking brainwashed.
It reminds me of what Yuri Bezmenov was saying about the demoralization of our nation and how you could bring black and white documents, you could bring photos, you could bring video evidence to these people that have been demoralized and indoctrinated, and they will have such a strong cognitive dissonance that they will not believe the evidence before them. He was saying, like, they will be so heavily believing in communism that they will not believe you proposing all this evidence until they are behind the gates and the concentration camp has closed.
Yeah. And it's the allegory of the Matrix as well. I mean, the creators of the Matrix really hit the nail on the head. Head of the nail. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. Again, my brain is fried right now. I can't come with anything. But they're absolutely right that when you're ingrained in the Matrix, if you've been in there for too long, then those people will literally fight to maintain that reality. And that's exactly what we're talking about right here. It is the Matrix for these people. They're so ingrained in that reality with cognitive dissonance, like you said, that they will not be able to break free with it. They will literally fight and scream. Like we see with all these psycho fucking banshees on the left. They will literally fight and scream to maintain that reality no matter what you show them. They're so fucking gone.
If I may, because you're into psy-ops and you know psy-ops and all that stuff, if you think about it, what these things are intended to do is create propagandized groups of warring tribes living in echo chambers so that we're constantly at each other's throats and not uniting about the things that we can all agree upon, which I think is part of the reason why they're so threatened by Trump and the fact that RFK Jr. has joined, because now they're creating a mutual, a ground that we can all agree on. That we can all come to and say, well, I don't want this stuff in my food. I don't want this stuff in my water. I don't want corporations, destroying the environment. I also don't want to be overtaxed. I don't want the government to be, auditing the middle class, et cetera, So I just, the psyop element to all of this is to figure out a way to use those emotions that are easily triggered against those people in a way that inhibits intelligent, logical deduction. You get these people emotionally riled up, so they get attached to these identities that the television has given them.
Absolutely. And by the way, we got people on the panel here. If you guys want to chime in with any questions or comments or anything, go right ahead.
Hey, this man is spitting the truth. I'm not going to interrupt the man on the roll. Okay.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm giving the guests the room to talk here. So.
Oh well, yeah.
But I do have to say that the basal instinct is it's like in pop culture. We can bring it around to that. We're talking about the light side and the dark side. The light side is doing things the right way, maybe not doing it the easy way. But if you give into your basal instincts and you're like, I'm on team red, I'm on team blue. Like I have friends that are on the other side of the aisle, which everybody should, because what we agree with other people is like 90%. We agree on that. And then where we pull the lever each 4 years. But you're never going to change. If you're just preaching to the choir all the time, you're not doing anything good. All right. Yeah. So I'm trying to explain to my friend who lives out in Nevada. I'm like, hey, which is important that he understands this. But I'm like, no, it's like he doesn't understand that Fox News and CNN and MSNBC, all these places, they're just trying to get us to get pissy and fight with each other. It's like they're all just trying to get us riled up to fight against each other because that makes them money. And it's just as simple. So yeah, if you start thinking and you're intelligent and you have intelligent discourse and good faith debate, that's going to destroy all of the news networks. It's going to destroy all of the companies that want to get you angry. Like I need to get Patriot Mobile. Like it's all about just pitting us against each other. How about we not do that? How about we just have debate? That's why people love Joe Rogan so much, because not because what he thinks and what he believes, because he's kind of an idiot. Let's be serious. But he's willing to have the discussion. That's all. That's why people are just salivating for that kind of stuff. Just have the discussion. I don't care what you think. I don't care how stupid your takes are. I don't care that you think that we didn't land on the moon. I just want to have a discussion.
Right.
Absolutely.
So,
Well,
yeah,
and
so
that's
that's
what's
fair.
interesting about what's being done by the government here. Similar to the Catholic Church creating the Dark Ages by suppressing all other narratives other than their own, the government has created a very similar shitty environment for people to live in. And in the process, what's happened is they've also planted the seeds of freedom that are going to result in a new American Renaissance. Because what has happened is that the linguistic structures that we've been handed by our institutions, or what is called the vertically integrated messaging apparatus, those linguistic structures, those mental models are not holding up to the external pressures that people are feeling in their lives, let alone the emptiness that comes from living a materialist worldview type lifestyle. So this system is actually shooting itself in the foot by pushing all this stuff on us, by creating these linguistic constructs that divide people, because it's actually creating an appetite for the truth, and it's creating people that are willing to do the work to find it and then do the work to spread it. And that's what's going to create this new American Renaissance that I think will end up becoming a global Renaissance, because this is an issue we have all over the world.
I agree. I've actually been saying for a while now that when it comes to everything, we talk pop culture over here too, and we've been saying for a long time that pop culture is downstream from politics, and we can see the swing on both the pop culture and the politics, especially in pop culture right now. I think the politics are falling straight behind. When you look at these movie studios and everything, they are losing so much fucking money with their idiotic woke agendas in Disney and so many others, and they're changing right now. Even the military as well. I have an article. Actually, I didn't think to pull it up for tonight, but the military is changing. They're moving away from DEI measures. The fucking Hollywood Disney is making some changes, and they're doing it because they're losing money. The fucking political pendulum and the pop culture pendulum is swinging back in our favor. And I think you're absolutely right. I think that it'll be a couple more years, I think in 5 years, the woke shit will be gone. Not completely gone, but it won't be the primary thing for all this crap. And then you're absolutely right. There will be a renaissance after that, especially when people realize that everything's so much fucking better without it.
And what's interesting though is that they will not have they don't have a deep bench. They've already played their whole hand, right? So now we know who these institutions are, what they're willing to do, how far they're willing to go, not just to turn a profit, but to remain in compliance and force our compliance with this New World Order agenda bullshit. So now, and this is what's really kind of interesting about everything that we're going through when it comes to the psy warfare and when it comes to the economic warfare, when it comes to all of this stuff, is that Sun Tzu, Art of War, he said, if you want to know who your spies are, what you do is you take each of your generals into your tent individually and you give them each a different piece of disinformation. Then you use your spies in the enemy camp to find out which piece of disinformation made its way into the enemy camp. Then you know where your spies are. So it's basically like using using dye in different water pipes to figure out where the leak is coming from, right?
Right.
And if you look at the system, the way that it's built and who's pushing the DEI stuff, who's pushing the racism stuff, if you look at the school system, who's pushing the woke stuff, who's pushing the racism stuff, if you look at the government in the military, you begin to see that this is like dye marker in the water to show you all the institutions that have been corrupted by the globalist system.
Absolutely. 100%. And I want to hop over to these super chats here. I think, did I miss this one? We didn't do Joseph A's, did we?
Hey, I don't.
No, you did not. You guys better drink.
Yes. I'm glad the Silver Man here is enforcing our drinking rule. Thank you. What are you saying, Alf?
I remember that dropping, and I remember your response. You were like, you guys are trying to get us drunk.
Yeah. Like, another one. All right, well, Joseph A for 20. Thank you, buddy. Says, keep drinking. Oh, hi, Courtney. Sorry, distracted a bit. I'm in Florida. Not in the path, but catching some outer bands. I'll hang around as soon as I'm capable. I appreciate that, man. And I'll tell you what, instead of our regular drinking games, let's honor you. Obviously, terrible things going on there. So let's get a quick video and see what's going on over there in Florida right now.
Oh my gosh.
That is-
That's
that's
Very
hilarious.
good.
That's great.
Oh, I love it.
Hilarious.
Fucking America, y'all. All right. Thanks so much, Joseph. Oh, I still have play in the background. Hold on.
Yeah,
Didn't
I'm
wanna do
drinking too. You can't see me, but I'm drinking too.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's run through a couple of these. Rhinoceros for $4.99. Thank you. Says, adding to the fact that the mainstream media lies, the repeal of Smith-Mundt Act, which was Drone Man BO, is doing rather coincidental. I don't get the reference. Jake, what does it mean?
Yes. So the Smith-Mundt Act was passed, I believe, in the early 1940s, or maybe after World War II, something like that. Basically, where the American government could not perpetuate psy-ops and propaganda campaigns on the American people, but they could on foreign soil. Now, Obama repealed the Smith-Mundt Act and then passed what's called the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act in 2012 that allowed the Department of Homeland Security to run psy-ops and psy-warfare operations, propaganda campaigns, on the American people. Now, we've known they've been doing this for a long time. Operation Mockingbird, the CIA's infiltrated media a long time ago. It's all illegal. But now they finally gave themselves legal permission to basically brainwash you with bullshit.
So I've never heard of the Smith-Mundt Act, but under UCMJ for the military, Uniform Code of Military Justice, I'm sure everybody actually knows what that is. There is specifically in there when it applies to my former job that PSYOP cannot be conducted on American populace, which I thought was really weird. We got sent to New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina in October of 2005, and we conducted a full-on PSYOP operation. Now, mind you, what it was specifically is we were working under FEMA, and we were being used as an emergency public service department or some shit. We were using our speaker trucks and distributing pamphlets and all that shit to advise people on like where to go, what not to eat, where, you know, all that good information. But to do that, we still did an entire operation. In other words, we did target audience analysis. We operated to find weaknesses and vulnerabilities in the psyche of people. And I'm like, this is kind of fucked up what we're doing here. Come to find out, I ended up looking into it, and in the UCMJ, it says you cannot conduct PSYOP on American people, but PSYOP elements may be used in emergency situations. Now, this is before Obama.
That's Bush.
That was under Bush. Yeah, it was, I was in from 2000 to 2009. Thank God I got out right as Obama was getting inaugurated. But yeah,
well, here's the thing about that, and this is the thing, and it's important to know. PSYOP just means psychological operation. It's just an operation that is tactically oriented around influencing the psyche of an individual or a group or a large group, like a nation or a state, right? So a PSYOP isn't necessarily a bad thing. You're going to need to know how PSYOPs work if you want to give people the truth too, because if you package the truth in a way that is not palatable or not understandable, well, then you are not going to get your message across. So PSYOP doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. Like, for example, I think that the Q operation was a PSYOP, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it was all lies. It was a psychological operation. It was an operation intended to influence the psyche of our nation. Okay. And this was done by influencing the psyche of individuals in that nation. So, and I think that was because they were attempting to stop the mass formation hypnosis from occurring as time went on.
Puppy got upset with that. I think Puppy is still following QAnon.
I think
Are you familiar? Well, no, it's Q is not QAnon. Q. Let's talk about that really quick, if we may.
Yeah.
Because they called me the QAnon shaman. So,
right.
First of all, they had the audacity to call me that, and then say that that's what I called myself, which that never happened. Okay.
Yeah, and I knew
also,
that.
Yeah. They also said that I was a failed actor, even though I've never acted a day in my life.
Yeah, I've always wondered where that came from because I never saw any articles about
Such a weird one to get attached to.
Well, it's
Sorry.
because I had an acting profile online that I put up using pictures from like my digital camera, pictures I took in my apartment. No history of schooling and acting whatsoever. I did it to try to make money on the side while after I stopped working with kids in group homes. So like they took that and said, "Oh, he's a failed actor." I made more money doing voices than I ever did as an actor because I never got any work as an actor. I got into work as a voiceover actor because I can do over like 30 different voices and accents, but that's it. So that's where that narrative came from. Now, when they called me the QAnon shaman, I want you to think about this, okay? Because we're talking about psyops, right? For like at least a year, if not more, the media was inundating the public with this term QAnon and then using phrases or words like racism, white supremacy, conspiracy theorists, right-wing extremists, etc., in association with QAnon, right?
Right.
And then so there is no QAnon. There's just Q, and then there's the anons. So the media creates this label. Then they place below this label all of the things that they want people to think about when they hear that label. Then they use that label to start putting it on Republicans or people that oppose their beliefs or people that are saying that the vaccine, that they're people that are saying things against the narrative that they want. Okay, I'm trying to be YouTube appropriate.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So the point here is when they put that label on me, they took all of that stuff in that psyop that they created regarding Q and the anons. They took all of that stuff and then they put it onto me to make it seem as though this narrative that QAnon was dangerous was somehow a reality because the QAnon shaman was in the Capitol screaming.
Right.
Yep,
and okay, go ahead.
Oh, I gotta add. So, you remember when all this was going down around January 6th? QAnon, that whole phrase was going everywhere. When is the last time you've heard the word QAnon?
I've talked to there. I've
not
been
a lot
on people. There are people still out there who does believe.
I know,
but I can't believe it.
No, I think what he's asking is when was the last time you heard it used like a tool to bludgeon somebody over the head? Is that what you mean?
Not a lot.
Just the other day. Just the other day. In all honesty, but it really all depends on who you're listening to and what you're listening to, right?
What I'm saying is the mainstream media is not pushing it.
Oh, not now.
I guarantee if Trump gets reelected, or even if he doesn't, and there's violence, they're going to bring it back up. I guarantee it.
Well, I think the main reason why they're pushing so much is there were so many people who were very vocal with it. I'm not gonna lie, I got wrapped into that stuff too. I know Jake, when we were out in Phoenix, I mean, there was a lot of people who were really into it, and there's a reason why, because a lot of it was so believable, especially these people who they did analysis of the the secret code, these messages that Q would put out on 8chan or whatever the fuck. And it when you really looked into it, it was very believable, and that's why, I think what he's saying. I think that there was like I think it was a CIA operation. I really do. I think it's a CIA.
I don't know about that. I don't know about CIA, and the reason why I say that is this: how would it behoove the CIA to undo all the work that they've done? Right? A house divided against itself cannot stand. I think it's more likely that it's either military or NSA, if it's government at all. I think that it most likely is, but if you look at what like the gap code, the timestamps, you look at the Q clock, all of these things are evidence of encryption and encryptology, which is the way military intelligence and intelligence agencies communicate. So the code there is rather indicative. If you understand cryptology and encryption, it's indicative of an intelligence agency or military intelligence. That's part of the reason why I think it was also so compelling. Now, if you look at some of the posts that were made during the Q operation, and then you graft some of those things onto what's going on like in 2020 or what's going on now, or some of the narratives like, dude, Trump and RFK Jr. are taking on the deep state. Okay. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. And then there's all this stuff about P. Diddy and all these Hollywood pedophiles getting exposed. Kamala Harris, I guarantee you, I want to put money on it that Kamala Harris was at one of Diddy's parties. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Like it ties in all of this stuff together. And currently we're like near the brink of fucking World War III, and it makes me wonder what is actually going on here, especially considering like Biden's face changes as often as the weather, like what is going on here?
Yeah. You're
My favorite was
100%
when he
right,
got
dude.
taller.
What's that?
Yeah. What the hell? He like grew like 7 inches.
Yeah, like, okay, it's one thing to be like, okay, maybe it's the lighting or the camera lenses is that gonna kind of change your facial features in a picture or video, but the height that doesn't just get adjusted. Like, that's not a
If anyone who here hasn't seen the movie They Live, this dealing with the politicians, that movie hits hard.
I love that movie. I'm glad you brought that up, by the way, for certain reasons.
And I'm all out of bubble gum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I may or may not have made a meme of Horny Alpha as Roddy Piper.
Yeah,
so I'm just so to keep it on a more fun subject, I try to do voice acting and stuff like that. You said you do characters. What's your weirdest, most unexpected voice that you do? I gotta hear it.
Weirdest unexpected voice.
Like, you would never think that you would make that voice.
I can be an old woman. I can sound like I'm about 90 years old.
Not disappointed at all.
Having not known that you did voice acting and all that shit, I will say that your routine whenever you had your fucking bullhorn out in Phoenix, you got a fucking voice behind you there, dude. I
am the bullhorn, right?
You are the bullhorn. You don't even need I don't know why you thought you need the fucking bullhorn. Can you replicate that when you're out there like shouting at the buildings and whatnot?
Oh, you mean the whoa?
Yeah.
Wow.
That kind of shit.
That's called Mongolian throat singing. And what you're doing is you're expanding and contracting your vocal cords to the point to where you're creating wave after wave after wave of sound. So if you just go oh, it's just one wave. But if you go oh, then it's sequential wave forms, and it's a form of shamanic singing that actually is used to chase off evil spirits and cleanse ecosystems.
Who's that amazing band that got popular recently? They're like from Mongolia.
Oh, that Mongolia, yeah, dude, I love them.
They're so good.
Stuff. Oh, it's so awesome.
Dude, it's like you think you like metal, like they're the original metal. Like they're they're really freaking good.
Yeah.
What was the name of them? I can't think of it.
No, I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah,
someone in the chat just said the Who.
The Who.
The Who. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, I think
HU.
It's Who. The HU. Yeah, no WHO, just HU.
Oh, dude, they're so good, and they do that. They modulate their voice, and they're just like it's so good, dude. Like, get it, look into it, people. It's amazing. It'll get you pumped.
Got to hit this up. Chris Thompson for $5. Thank you very much. Says bad enough they released that letter with an open bounty. Oh yeah, the $150,000 bounty on Trump with that fucker Ruth. They're letting undocumented people buy firearms. Are they going to try to push us to lock and load? Dude, I've been saying this for a while that one thing I always stress on my channel. I know there's a lot of people new here. I always stress to everybody, there is no reason to get violent right now. We can fix things by voting. It can happen. I know damn well everyone understands they're going to cheat. Okay, they're going to cheat, but we can overwhelm the system by getting everyone out there to vote. Make sure you're registered. Make sure people you know are registered. And on November 5th and beforehand, if you can vote early, then please vote early. Bank your vote because they're going to pull shenanigans on November 5th. But no matter what, we can win, but also we can't be too confident. No red wave talk. Vote like your lives depend on it, and we're 10 points behind. And get out and get other people to vote as well. But
if I may, I'd like to say something about that.
Sure.
The globalists want violence. They want violence so they can bring in the United Nations, and they can say, oh, stuff's going crazy over in America. We need the United Nations to step in. Okay, so they want the violence, and I think they are, in a sense, pushing us toward some form of conflict and civil war. At least through their propaganda. They're at least trying to kill Trump, that's for sure, right? And they obviously don't care if there's casualties amongst his followers or amongst his supporters, right? So they have basically openly declared war on all of us because technically psychological warfare is a form of warfare. So the situation is such that they are arming or allowing undocumented / illegal aliens to be armed. They're literally paying foreign gangs to come here and live, right? They're going after people that are protecting themselves from criminals instead of going after the criminals and creating a revolving door, right? So they're creating an atmosphere where they want the civil war. The last thing we want to do is give it to them. What we have to do is, like you said, vote. We have to be self-governed. We have to prove that government's obsolete because we can govern ourselves. So a good example of the fact that the whole election is not rigged is the fact that recently I heard a story about Secret Service telling the public that they had no problem staffing for Trump. But behind the scenes, so publicly they're saying, yeah, we got Trump. Behind the scenes, they're secretly telling Trump and his campaign that they can't provide personnel for him when he campaigns in Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
I
they
remember
also
hearing
had-
about that, yeah.
They also told him initially that for some reason that they wouldn't provide counter sniper teams unless they're in driving distance of Washington D.C. And who wants to get? What the fuck does that even mean? Because driving distance from Washington D.C. can mean a 3-day drive to California. You can still fucking do it.
Dude, you can live in DC and not be in driving distance to DC. It sucks. If you've ever lived there, it's shit.
I've been around there enough times, but did Jake freeze?
If he did, it's the most amazing freeze of all time.
Yeah.
We could,
Oh,
There we go.
All right, and we're back.
You there? Yeah,
Yeah.
you're back, buddy.
I'm sorry
You're
about
back.
that. Yeah, so like they're creating an atmosphere that will result in some sort of bloodshed if we're not careful. And the fact that they're trying to stop Trump from campaigning in Wisconsin says to me that they believe that Trump is going to go to Wisconsin's going to go to Trump, and that also says that the elections are not as rigged as we would like to think they are. Because if they were as rigged as we thought they were, they wouldn't care about Wisconsin. They wouldn't try to get Trump off the ballot. They wouldn't try to throw him in prison. We know that we can overwhelm the system. We know that we can have such a turnout it's too big to rig, and that's what we must do to save our country.
Well, yeah, everyone's been saying. I'm a big follower of Dan Bongino, so I quote him all the fucking time. He's been saying that he believes that there's some inside polling that they know over on the Harris campaign that they know they're fucked. They are royally fucked. She does not have the support. What a loaded pile of crap to believe that she went from the least approved fucking vice president with like 20-something% approval to somewhere between 40 and 50 when all of a sudden she becomes a fucking presidential nominee. Who the fuck believes this? So yeah, they're desperate every way possible. They're desperate right now to do whatever the fuck they can.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah.
And they don't have a deep bench either. They don't have a deep bench. They don't have. Obama was their last big card. Obama was their Trump, right? And so once his administration was over, they thought it was going to go to Hillary. They thought that it was just going to be business as usual. And it really didn't work out that way, which is part of the reason why I'm inclined to believe that there's something else going on behind the scenes at these really high levels of government that we just don't really know about, unfortunately. And in many cases, it's fortunate for most people because they just freak out. But, the people like us that want to know and can be self-governed, it sucks because we have to end up reading between the lines.
Yeah. And by the way, I meant to do this earlier too, but I've been showing everyone because I want people to support Trump. I don't just want super chats over here. I want everyone to support Trump. I'm not on the campaign or anything, but I love showing this off. I got this at donaldjtrump.com, Veterans and Military Families for Trump. This is on his official page. They've also got the hats. Anyone out there who's a veteran, this is a great way to support President Trump. If you don't want to just donate, then buy some swag and money still goes over there. I also got my Make America Great flag. So I bought all this stuff by supporting him. DonaldJTrump.com is his official website. You can buy all gear. Obviously, there's a lot of other type of gear, very good gear. Show him some love, show him some support. We are just over, like a couple days, just over 1 month away from the election, guys.
Crazy.
And it's fucking it is time right now. We got to get out there and help them in any way possible, man, because this really is the election of our fucking life. The most important election in America, I think. Trump fans 2024. Let's do it.
Woo.
But you know, one thing about that, and this is something, and look, I agree with you. This election is extremely important. But I think that everybody concentrating on this election is kind of also skewing the big picture in some ways. Because I think that this desire for somebody to save us is so overwhelming that people are just grafting their hopes and dreams onto people in politics. And even if Trump is way more reliable than any other politician, I still think that that's the mistake that got us into this place in the first place.
Exactly.
You know, so we have to begin to think decades and centuries ahead, because guess what? The deep state, our opposition, they're thinking decades and centuries ahead, and they're at war with you and your mind 24/7. And all we're doing is responding every 2 to 4 years. Most people don't realize they can respond every day by voting with their time, their energy, and their money. But they would rather graft their mind onto, well, I can vote here on this day and somehow we'll make a change. No, dude, you make a change by not buying Monsanto. You make a change by giving the big FU to Disney Plus and not shopping at Target or never buying Bud Light again.
Growing your own vegetables.
Growing your own vegetables. Becoming self-sufficient. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right, Jake, that, I mean, one, we can't idolize any politician. These people are not to be idolized. Somehow, we created this idea that the president of the United States is a superstar in some way, shape, or form. They're not. We need to hold them accountable at all times. We're at least the party over here that if Trump fucks up, we're going to hold his feet to the fire. The left, they can do no wrong. And I hate to use that dichotomy of left versus right, but it really is good versus evil, because there's so many fucking evil motherfuckers in the Republican Party as well. This is something I also quote from Dan Bongino, that there are plenty of there are plenty of Republicans who are actually Democrats, but there are no Democrats who are actually Republicans. What you say,
and what I was going to say is I think that's the more insidious part of it is the neocons. This is what people don't understand. Like people of my generation, we're all around the same age. Not Courtney, because she looks like she's in her 20s, but I digress. We are all we're all of a time where we got to see like George W. Bush and the fake altruism, the fake bipartisanism. Most people that love Trump, they choose George W. Bush as their worst president by a long shot. We knew we were getting with Obama. Clinton, we didn't know what was going on yet because we were fairly young. But with George W. Bush, he was a wolf in sheep's clothing, and a retarded wolf at that, I might admit. But I still despise that man. With Obama, I knew what he was trying to go for. I didn't like Obama at all. But with George Bush, he was trying to activate the Christian portion of his voting population. That was just a way to activate voters and stuff like that. I remember being in Bible studies where they're talking about George Bush, and I'm like, he's a horrible. He's as bad as everybody else. He probably lost about 6 or 7 votes from me, but good, because he's as evil. He's even more evil because he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Yeah, with the Democrats, they're wolves. They're like, hey, we're wolves. It's just like
he's a big state Republican. That's all it is. That's all there is to it. He's uniparty. I mean, the same people that were criticizing him and calling him, Hitler. I remember that because I was alive then. But people calling him Hitler are now buddying up to his former vice president from then.
Oh, are we talking about Green Day?
Yeah.
That tells me that people are stupid, that they care about is fame.
Oh, we know
and
that.
Probably they should be a little more introspective and a lot less clout chasing.
I think that it's also it's about being a part of the machine. So one of the things that I've said in some of my live streams is that if you look at all the corporations, all of the banks, all the intelligence agents, all of the CEOs, all the politicians, including Bush and Cheney, if you look at all of these people that are backing Kamala Harris, then what you get is you get the die in the water. You get to see the mechanism that is making up the machine that's destroying your life and killing everything on the planet. You know what I'm saying? So anybody
100%.
that's backing Kamala Harris, whether it be George W. or Cheney or Goldman Sachs or, it doesn't matter, if you know that they are a part of this international and national deep state. And as a part of being a part of that machine, they have to watch out for each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Yo Pops. What's up, Yo Pops? Happy to have you here, man. 100%. He says, I'm expecting elections to be suspended if they can't get Trump a third time. Some kind of mass casualty event, organic or provocateur, as an excuse to enact martial law. COVID was a test run. I've been saying for a long time, I think that they are going to activate cells within this country of people who crossed over the border illegally within those millions. I think that's something like that is going to happen within this next month. And yeah, they're gonna come up with something that's going to be similar to the same restrictions they did during COVID for the last election. Courtney, you've been very quiet, but I know you are very opinionated on all this kind of stuff too. Do you have any takes on this?
I mean, listen, if anybody knows anything about me, I just think that we need to completely get rid of the government. I'm sick and tired of them manipulating us everywhere we go, and I'm tired of them taking my money.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we end the stream right there? I mean, that's as good as it's going to get. So
what's crazy about that though is we're actually paying for all these things that are ruining our lives. Like, we're paying for these people to get shipped across the border. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're paying for the stuff in Ukraine and the stuff in Israel. We're paying for the government surveillance tech that is spying on us and is limiting our free speech. We're paying for all this shit.
You know what else we paid for? We paid for Mark Hamill to fucking tell the whole country that he's voting for Joby-Wan Kenobi. That our money fucking paid for that.
Yeah.
Ugh, I want a refund. I never wanted that ever.
She's a big Star Wars fan, by the way.
Yeah, that's that goes beyond taxation is theft. That's taxation is grape. That's like if it goes to Mark Hamill, that's awful. Yeah. Oh.
Could have at least used lube. Jesus criminy.
Use the force lube. Yes.
Use the first lube.
Rhinoceros says for $4.99, thank you much. Says the goal should be autonomy. Then no matter what the world throws at you, is easily handled. I said goal for a reason. Thank you very much. And we've been missing out on this. It's social. Don't actually chug, Courtney. Don't actually chug. It's okay.
So I have a point to that, and it's from my forefathers from West Virginia. Andrew Jackson tried to get fresh with the moonshiners back in the day. He learned real quick they weren't going to put up with that shit. All you need to do is be vociferous and fight back with your full chest, and you will win. They tried to tax the moonshiners, and it did not go over well. You don't mess with patriots. All right. And he backed off that real quick.
Andrew Jackson's a perfect example of the fact that not all of our founding fathers were good guys. Andrew Jackson was an asshole. He was actually the root of the Democrat Party. They called themselves Jacksonian Democrats. These slave owners that wanted to hold on to their slaves, they called themselves Jacksonian Democrats. Mm-hmm. And Andrew Jackson was a advocate and a proponent for slavery, and he owned many slaves himself, and he was also responsible for the Indian Removal Act and Manifest Destiny, which was basically responsible for the extinction of the Native Americans and the sequestering them on reservation land. So, there's good and bad in our founding fathers. Now, one of the things that I agreed with Andrew Jackson on was this notion of a gold-based currency. That was something that he instituted, and I think that was, evidence that a broken clock is right twice a day. But these other areas in which he had these beliefs that I just don't think are defensible, I have no problem calling him out and saying, yeah, that's a founding father I don't agree with and don't like.
Yeah, and that was, like I said, that is absolutely why you need to hold people's feet to the fire. Yes, he's one of the founding fathers, but that is not a free pass for anything. I don't care how good you are. Much to the point, as somebody else said, if Trump decides he wants to, there's certain things with Trump I vehemently disagree with. One of them, which, and I don't want to get deep into it, is IVF. I do not agree with that at all. That is murder. Anyways, don't want to get into it, but I'm just saying. But it's saying that's one thing. But it's you got to take it as the whole body. What is he actually going to push? you can't just dismiss somebody for one take. It's like it's a war of attrition. You gotta push these people back, and if it gets too much, like back in the 90s, the religious right was horrible. They were bad. They were not. I remember people banging their Bibles at a freaking Marilyn Manson concert, which seems tame nowadays, but it was really annoying. They were trying to get him kicked out of arenas.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like it goes back and forth. Authoritarianism and Puritanism will just find a place to rest its head, and we just got to tell it to get lost at every turn.
And that's the situation we're dealing. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Alf.
I was gonna say, Mo, I got to agree. The biggest thing that is a pet peeve to me is single issue voters. People that their entire voting experience is based on one issue. It should never be that way. You should weigh all the different things and come up with, okay, I want to vote on this, vote on this, and pick the person that best aligns with what you. Not based on one single issue. That's just asinine.
I got a friend here. I won't say who it is, but might be listening. Is really hung up on an issue when it comes to Trump and abortion, kind of like you bring up there, Mo, and was wanting to vote for RFK just because of that. But this person's also big into guns, so I'm like, how can you want to make that vote when the fact of the matter is that the other side, if she wins, she has been saying forever, this is what she's running on, that if she is elected, she will do a mandatory gun buyback. Now, whether or not she can do that or not, doesn't matter. She's still going to push for it, which a gun buyback is not that. It's gun confiscation while they throw a couple bucks at you. She is intent on taking everyone's fucking guns away. So it doesn't make any sense to me why anyone who likes their guns but will still not vote for Trump because of abortion. I can't get over why people think that way.
Well, people don't even know what Trump's views on abortion are anyway. Like, everyone just thinks that he's trying to ban abortion. Like, that's not what's happening at all. Like, it should be far more important for us to be able to keep our guns, because that's part of that's it. That's the fucking Second Amendment. Do we have an amendment protecting abortion? No. No, this is America.
The Second Amendment protects the first. We have our right to freedom of speech, and we wouldn't have that without our guns. 100%.
Exactly. Like, that's to me, that's always going to be far more important. Like, we can discuss abortion laws and all of that stuff, but quit pushing that on a politician in general just because they might be have an R next to their name. Like, that's not always their MO. They don't even have that on their mind half the time.
Right, but it's like with the people you interact with in your life that you might consider close friends or confidants or mentors and stuff like that. They're not going to agree with everything that you think, but or what you believe. So it's like you cannot just focus on one thing unless it's like a really good, like a really important thing. It's just like, well, I really think your wife is good looking. I want to hook up with her. It's like, okay, well, we got to end this right now. But I'm just saying, like there's certain instances where that's a non-starter. But I'm just saying, like as far as like Trump's IVF stance and stuff like that, I don't agree with it at all. The bump stock thing, I need to look more into. I don't know what I think about that, because that was when I was kind of still in the haze. I don't know what he was thinking one way or another. I don't want to comment on it.
I think with that, he listened to advisors. That was a problem. Early on, he was listening to advisors because he was so fresh when it came to the presidency. He didn't know what to do with that situation. As a business owner, when has that idea ever popped in his head about how to handle a situation like guns in the U.S.? So he listened to somebody giving bad advice.
Yeah, totally. And that was a hallmark of his first administration. He surrounded himself with a bunch of losers.
Yes.
I mean, let's be serious. But
But you know what's hold on. What's interesting about that, because I don't hear anybody saying this, is that even still, he had the swamp surrounding him, and they still fucking hated him. They still demonized him. They limited his reach so much, and they said his presidency was the biggest threat to democracy ever. So what does that mean, that when he gets in the second time and actually is not green anymore and knows what he's doing, what him and RFK Jr. together are going to do? Because, dude, RFK Jr. knows the bureaucratic deep state. He knows it in and out. He knows the administrative state. And he knows all the evil people involved.
And
I love how the Democrats tried to out politic a Kennedy. That's fucking hilarious. It's like, well, good luck with that.
Oh, okay.
You might not like his stance, but the Kennedys don't. Hey, if you want to piss off Michael Jordan, you go right ahead.
And you know what? That's the problem. When Trump first came into office, he tried to work with the parties that were there. He tried to, in good faith, he tried to have a, meet in the middle kind of thing. But they still fucked him over because they still were sabotaging him every chance they could. So I say if he gets elected again, say fuck it, remove them all, bring in the people he trusts, and go forward with that.
Yeah, and that's what I like about the RFK thing is the what did RFK call it there, Jake? It was the he was talking about the Lincoln's cabinet, the cabinet of where they're against each other's beliefs, but they're trying to.
Lincoln's cabinet. Yeah. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, dude. He had one of the most diverse cabinets in U.S. history, from what I understand. A lot of contradictory
it was called
views, right?
What did RFK Jr. call it? I can't remember, but it was basically like a cabinet of adversaries. It was basically like a bunch of people that could not stand each other, but what was in the middle, and this is why America is so great, is left, right, or center. When you actually have a good faith discussion and you work with each other, what happens in the middle is amazing. And that's what has made America great for so long. And that's why we need to get back to it. That's why Joe Rogan gets so many viewers. That's why the Trump RFK Jr. announcement was so lit the world on fire, is because they're like, look, I don't agree with a lot of what he says, but what we're trying to focus on is so important for the country. It's more important that what we can come together on is way more important than and that goes back to the point of the single point voter. It's just like good and evil is not that complex, but how to defeat evil is complex. And if you don't know how to get people together to mobilize that, then that's where you fail. Like, don't look at everything as everything's good, everything's evil. There is a little bit of gray. Not everything's gray. All right. Not everything is, oh, well, it's like in woke media and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, Trump and RFK and Tulsi Gabbard are doing it right. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that they say, but the way we're moving forward is the way we need to move forward, which is have discussions. We have disagreements, we have agreements, but we find where the meat of the matter is and we try to address it as best as we can. And I love what they're doing with that. And it's given me so much hope that I haven't had in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting is that you got to throw in Elon Musk in there too. They're all former Democrats.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And it's great. Yeah, absolutely. You were going to say something earlier, Jake?
Yeah, but I think I forgot. Let me just try and. No, it's okay. I think it was about the deep state and the administrative state. Oh, go ahead. You were going to say something?
Let me hit this member chat here real quick. Iron Oxide for 14 months. Thank you for supporting the channel for so long, dude. I appreciate the fuck out of you there, Iron. The panic over metal, video games, horror, etc. I think that was in reaction to something we said, but I don't remember. But thank you so much.
The religious right. We're talking about the religious right.
Yeah.
So
that's what I wanted to say. Thank
yeah.
you. I actually, now I remember. The
Satanic panic.
The right can be just as draconian as the left. And what we do not want to do is trade a Democrat deep state for a Republican deep state, because it's the uniparty all the way, right? So we really have to start thinking decades and centuries ahead. We have to really start thinking about 2028. Who's going to take up Trump's mantle? Who's going to be out there ready to, fight for us the way that Trump has? Who has that kind of experience? Who has that knowledge? Who has a plan? Right. And I think him and RFK Jr. getting together is really good because, first of all, in order to dismantle or drain the swamp, you are going to need to deal with the bureaucracy, which is like a tyrannical fourth branch of government. But I also think it's very important, and this is something a lot of people aren't talking about, for the Republicans to win the Congress, because the only way that we can clean up the federal judges, the only way we can amend the Constitution or change some of these bogus laws like liability shields being given to big pharma for these vaccines or whatever. Sorry, I said the word, but I didn't say anything bad. Mm-hmm. But anyway,
it's actually okay to say vaccine and everything now. It's just you can't say anything bad about it.
Okay, so so anyway, like the only way that we're going to be able to get all that stuff out of our system and create something for the people is if we have the Congress. So in order to actually do the kind of things we want to do to drain the swamp, and that includes defunding bureaucratic agencies or dissolving them entirely, we have to get the Congress and the presidency. If we get RFK Jr. and Trump in the White House, right? If we get them in the White House, but they don't have the Congress, then it's a lame duck presidency.
100%. You're absolutely right. I've been saying that. Actually, I have not been stressing that enough. That we need the House and the House Representatives and the Senate as well to get
and in large majority. And in large majority.
Yes. Yeah, because especially, I mean, we know we got like Mitt Romney's in there and shit who aren't fucking Republicans. They're gonna vote with the fucking Democrats every fucking time. No, if you're in any area where you get these fucking rhinos, get them. Actually, I think we're already past primary. Yeah, so it's you're stuck with whatever you get. But no matter what, vote red down the fucking ballot. There's a lot of people who I completely understand why they just go in, they just vote for the president, but you got to vote down ballot. Vote for every single fucking Republican that you can, and look locally too, because that's very important. Also, people don't pay attention to judges and your local representatives, your local mayors, and all that. Those make big differences as well, guys. So please pay attention.
And that's what our founding fathers meant it to originally be. They meant most of the power to be in our local officials,
federalism,
local people that we vote for. That's what they meant the most of the power to be to, and that the federal government had a very limited scope of what they could do, and and our politicians in the last 200 years have flipped that completely.
Oh yeah.
Well, here's what I have to say: vote in your gosh darn primaries, people. I almost said the actual one, and I am not a blasphemer, but I live in South Carolina. I swear, if Lindsey Graham gets another term in Congress,
God,
like that goo gobbler gets back in office, I'm just going to lose my mind. He is such a fruit, and he's such a pushover, and it drives me nuts. Like they say that South Carolina is a red state, but it's more like a fluorescent pink state, because we have the most winky tink Republicans and conservatives in the face of the earth, and it drives me nuts.
I'm so proud to have people like Josh Hawley in my fucking state, dude.
Yeah, I'm just saying, we got Lindsey Graham. He's like, hey, why don't we send some more stuff to Ukraine? Our senator, our most famous senator is, would you look at this? Would you look at this? Like that's our senator. He's like, Ukraine. He's like, would you look at this? We need to send more $9 million to this. Would you look at this?
We'll send our tax dollars to some people overseas.
Lindsey Graham and his butthole.
Even worse, I actually grew up in Vermont. When I got out of the Army, I made the bad mistake of going back, and I was bartending there in 2015 when fucking Bernie Sanders was running for president. And yeah, you want to talk about fucking shit, dude. I had to bite my tongue all the damn time. It's like, just remember, you still want money, you still want tips, so don't fucking yell at anybody, because I had to hear people talk about Bernie Sanders all the fucking time. But no less, I want to shift gears, because I want to go back to J6. I'm still so curious, Jake, as to a lot of shit's going on, because especially like my show last night, I had somebody come on. I was making an announcement that you're going to be on tonight, and I had somebody in there, and obviously we've heard it a million times. I'm sure you have too. There's so many critics out there who they believe that you were some paid opposition, that you were some paid antagonist, or something like that. And I had to tell this person, one, I know you. I didn't know you really well. I saw you like 3 times out in Arizona, but I knew damn well you were a good man. You had great intentions. You were out there trying to protect children, from human trafficking and all that. But on top of that, like, look at all the videos that came out. Like, you were fucking guided through the fucking place. You didn't force your way in. You weren't forced. When you were out there, you took your blowhorn and you were trying to tell people to stop. You were trying to get everyone to stop, to calm down. You weren't antagonizing people. So can you, I'm sure this isn't your first time, defend yourself, please, if this person is listening. What went down that day? How was it? How was it going down when the police started like guiding you through the fucking halls and all that too? Please break this down for us. Okay.
I started out at the Ellipse. I left Trump's speech early, but I stayed long enough to hear him say peacefully and patriotically, make your voices heard.
Yep.
I went down to the Capitol. There was already a large group of people there. And everything was fine. Everything was peaceful for the most part. There was a couple of people arguing with cops, but nothing too bad. And then after a little while, lo and behold, the police start shooting concussion grenades and tear gas and rubber bullets into the crowd. And it was shortly thereafter that all hell broke loose, as far as I remember.
Wait, that happened before the crowd was violent?
Yes.
I never heard that.
Yeah. At least where I was at on the Senate side. Yeah, that's what I saw. That's how I saw it.
Okay.
There was no violence until tear gas, concussion grenades, and rubber bullets were shot into a peaceful crowd.
Okay. So what happened for you after that?
Well, and think about it like this. You got a big crowd of people, right? And you got the stage is right here, right? If you shoot tear gas right here and right here, then you got all these people that are, what, they're going to move toward the tear gas? No, they're going to move away from the tear gas. You know what I'm saying? So, and then rubber bullets and concussion grenades. Yeah. So after that, the barricades were breached. They went up to the doors and they were breaking windows and getting in the damn building. And I thought, holy shit, you know, this is going on outside the building and they're going inside. Oh my God. My first thought was like, well, congressmen, police officers, like these people are in danger. Shit, the protesters themselves are in danger. They may not, a part of me understood to a certain extent that they may not have fully grasped the danger that they were in. So I thought, well, you know, first of all, DC is built on ley lines, the electromagnetic ley lines, like the pyramids and the obelisks and shit. So the Congress building is built on one of these ley lines, just like the Washington Monument. And so if there's all this chaos going on outside, and they bring that into the building, which is technically a sacred chamber or like a temple on the ley lines, then it's really bad juju. So my thought was, well, I got to prevent vandalism, violence, and theft. So I went into the building. And 30 seconds, and my intentions being this pure are evident in all the video evidence of me on that day. This 30 seconds into the building, I stopped somebody from stealing. Now, granted, it was just muffins from a break room, but it was the principle of the matter. I'm not going to allow somebody to steal, you know? So I stopped him from stealing. I closed the door to the break room, walked up the stairs, you know, that's where we, you know, the pictures were taken at the top of the stairs when I was talking to the police. And, then I noticed that there were people in the Senate chamber. When I sang my shamanic song in the Senate chamber on the upper terrace, I noticed there were people in the Senate. So I walked up to the cops and said, hey, there's people in there. You know, if you want, I can help you guys like stop vandalism, violence, and theft, you know, help you clear the Senate chamber. And they're like, oh yeah, come on. So them giving me that tour around the building was because I offered to help them. I volunteered to help the cops. So, yeah. So, shortly thereafter, I made it into the Senate because they escorted me to it. I sat in the chair because I wanted to have a view of the whole room to stop, you know, make sure that nobody's going to steal anything or vandalize anything. I said my prayer. They escorted us out of the building. When we came out of the building, like you were saying, shortly thereafter, I was stopping people from breaking in, telling everybody to go home, playing Donald Trump's tweet on my megaphone. So my intentions were pure. They were very pure. Yeah. But for the media's and the government's psy-op to work, right? For the media psy-op to work, they had to create the illusion that what happened outside, the violence that happened outside, happened inside, which it didn't. Okay, there was no violence inside like what happened outside. Okay,
right.
So what they did is to create the fusion of this narrative of the chaos that happened outside and the stuff that happened inside. They fused them together by showing people the images of the chaos outside and then my image inside, because they're both shocking images. So psy warfare, shocking images or trigger images and trigger words. So that's why the narrative got spun the way that it did, and how I got tangled up in all of that was because, you know, I basically stood out the most.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. Like I've been saying, yeah, you were their poster child for all these people to try to make everyone look violent. They try to make you look like you were a violent provocateur. Obviously, they hid the videos for the longest time until one of the Republicans got a hold of them and released them. And that's when we were finally able to see you peacefully going around, saw when you were on the blowhorn, and I can confirm that's exactly the kind of person you are, because one of the rallies we were at Phoenix, I remember we had some little like wannabe Antifa fuck or something came up and started yelling at the crowd, and the crowd started like swarm him. You rushed over there really fucking quick. I think a cop was talking to us also at that time, and you rushed over there to break everyone up. That is the kind of person you are. You are always the one who's trying to de-escalate things. So I can absolutely see it, and I love asking you that and getting that response, because that adds up so much more in my head now as to how all that played out from the videos we've seen.
Yes, and here's the thing, and this is why I have the belief that I do about the way that the government chose to handle my situation. The January 6th committee used my image a number of times in their little show trial, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I am inclined to believe that the January 6th committee and the government in general, the media, they're going to do everything they can to find some sort of incriminating evidence or some sort of outrageous activity that the face of the January 6th insurrection did, right? So they're going to scour that whole video, that whole tape, and be like, where did this guy go? What did he do? Can we get him doing something bad? Right?
Yeah.
Because they could use it for their narrative. So I believe personally that the government had that footage. They knew that they had that footage, but they did not give it to my lawyer. Instead, what they did to basically act as a scapegoat is shortly before I was sentenced, like a month before I was sentenced. So after I pled guilty already, they made that footage available to my attorney by sending him a link to a website that had 44,000 hours of footage. It's got 44,000 hours of footage, was the 1 to 2 minutes that I was on camera with the police. So they basically said, well, we made the footage available to him, but his lawyer didn't seek to find. So it's not our problem. We didn't know it was there. And the thing is that when I gave the FBI my deposition, basically when I told them what happened to me, I don't suppose it's a deposition, that's not the right word, when I gave them my side of the story, when they interrogated me, when I went out to meet them in Phoenix, when I got back from DC, I told them everything that I pretty much have said again and again and again. And it's their job to investigate whether or not I'm telling the truth or not. So it's their job to investigate all that footage. So that's another area where I'm thinking like, no, dude, they had to know that it was there, but it would be so detrimental to their narrative that the poster boy was trying to de-escalate, that the poster boy was trying to help.
Yep.
That they just could not have it out there.
You know what? Okay, so I was on the fence on whether I wanted to bring this up. Are you familiar with the whole story with the pipe bomb at the DNC?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. Have you been tracking all the things? Especially the biggest thing people are not aware of is that Kamala Harris, the incumbent vice president, was at the DNC and not at the Capitol building, which makes no sense because these people play victim all the time. There's a pipe bomb right outside of her fucking building where she could have been killed, but instead she keeps on claiming that she was at the Capitol building. And why would that be? And let me ask, so you've been tracking. So are you on, what's your understanding of this entire story, which, by the way, I believe, and Dan Bongino believes, this is the biggest story out of everything, and it's especially very obvious because nobody is fucking talking about it. They are hiding the story as best they can. Jake, why is that?
Because I believe that the pipe bomb was Plan B. The January 6th events were a setup. Okay, it was a deep state setup. They suppressed intelligence from getting to Chief Sund. They revoked Chief Sund, the Capitol Police Chief. They revoked his ability to invoke the National Guard at will. They did not allow him, when he said put in the paperwork, to have the National Guard there on January 6th. The Pentagon, the FBI, the Capitol Police intelligence officers, they did not get the intelligence to Chief Sund that would have allowed him to submit it in the paperwork so he could have had the National Guard there. There was literally over like 200 FBI or Fed agents in the crowd that day. Some of them were actually even inside the building dressed as Trump supporters, supposedly, that were inside the building before it was ever breached. And there's all of this crap that points to the idea that it was a setup and therefore a psy-op that ensued afterward to basically, quote unquote, invoke the 14th Amendment and say that Trump was no longer able to run because of the Insurrection Act or whatever, basically. And it was not the Insurrection Act, but basically anybody that commits insurrection can't run for office. So they're trying to push that narrative in the media. They couldn't do it in the courts, but they figured if they could do it strong enough in the media, maybe they could get him off the ballot and they could demonize all the supporters. But if that failed, I believe that pipe bomb was Plan B. Now, Plan B for what, right? Why stage the riot? Why do the pipe bomb thing? And it's because they did not want the debate regarding the 2020 election and the certification to be heard. They wanted that to be interrupted so that when they brought everybody back, they'd say, this is an outrage. We have to certify this election. We're not going to tolerate this threat to our democracy. And then they state, like I saw a funny meme. It said January 6th will forever be the day that the government staged a riot to cover up a fraudulent election. So
Yeah.
I think that or cover up the certification of a fraudulent election. So that, I think, is the reason why the pipe bomb was Plan B. And what's crazy is that all of the ways that they found people for January 6th, they found people in the crowd through using cell phones or facial recognition software or following cameras or using cell phone towers. All of those ways that they found people for January 6th at the Capitol, they could not and were unable to use to find the pipe bomber. In fact, the files were corrupted. They lost the footage. They lost. Secret Service deleted all of their text messages. Why? And why isn't Kamala Harris talking about it? And it's because the whole thing was there, devised to be a psyop or an illusion, so that they could hijack the election or hijack the country.
So I have a couple points I want to make that might be a little bit in contrast, but 100% we are 100% on board in the same idea. Absolutely, the idea, because here's the thing, everybody. January 6th, even without the riot, was going to be national news. They were going to cover that certification process, and exactly like Jake was saying, the plan was the Republicans were going to get up there and they were going to display the evidence of the steal of the election for everyone to see. And they could not have that. So no matter what, there were plans in place to disrupt that process so that we would not see that happen. The disagreement I would have, and because I'm a big follower of Dan Bongino, who was prior Secret Service, he was investigation detail. He is very in depth and he knows a lot of people in there. He's been talking to people who are in the Secret Service who have been telling him that there's a lot of shady shit that when it comes to that pipe bomb thing, which, like I said, when you follow all the evidence Stan's been putting out, it is the biggest fucking story of our lifetime. And it's going to come out if Donald Trump gets elected. Here's the thing, is that following all the evidence he's been putting out, I believe him when he says that he thinks that the pipe bomb was actually Plan A. They did not think that the insurrection, quote unquote, the violence was going to happen in the manner that it did. The pipe bomb was the main plan. And that's why Kamala Harris was at the DNC. It was all fucking rigged. Yes, here's what's all fucked up too. That pipe bomb that they show had a fucking 1 hour timer on it. They show pictures of it. It has a 1 hour timer. In other words, in 1 hour, it would explode. They claim it was planted at 1 o'clock in the morning. And then at fucking 6 a.m. or whatever the hell fucking time it was, then all of a sudden it's found, or 9, whatever time Jan 6.
No, it was much later than that, because it was right around the time that the Capitol was breached, I think.
It was the same time when all of a sudden somebody mysteriously found this thing under a fucking bench when the bomb sweeping dogs did not. There are bomb sniffing dogs that take fucking patrols around there every fucking day, and the dogs didn't find it. It was visible. Anybody walking by could have seen this fucking thing. And you're right. There's so many details I can go through. It's just fucking nuts. But yeah, you're right. The Secret Service and the FBI, all that fucking text and information went away, and they claim is because that day they did a text switch where they swapped out all of the cell phones for new ones. Why in the fuck would they do that on the day of the certification when they knew there was potential violence happening? What sense does that fucking make? And Bongino is 100% sure that what's going to happen, and mark my words, I'm going along with his words, but mark my words as well. If this information comes out, if it does come out to the public, they're going to claim it was all a training exercise. But again, why would they do that on January fucking 6th?
Yep. And this is the thing, and this is important to understand about the deep state. Everything it is that they do, they have one chess move actually changes the dynamics of the whole board, because one chess move is multiple chess moves. They do one operation for multiple reasons affecting multiple different areas of the system. So, for example, like with January 6th, it wasn't just about getting Trump off the ballot or demonizing him or his supporters. It was also about other things. Like, for example, getting people to be apathetic to Americans not having their constitutional rights exercised and being imprisoned. It was another attempt at the controlling of information to certain people that are patriots within the system, and that exercise going well, and all the people that did that got promoted afterward. So, like, and then people like Chief Sund, who were the fall guy, the real patriots in the system, they end up taking the hit. Now, there is a lot of good people in our system that are like Chief Sund, or, you know, even people like Kyle Seraphim or Stephen Friend, former FBI agents. They blew the whistle on this corruption. There's good people in the system. What we need more than anything is like a unifying figure that all these people can come and get behind, and everybody can agree on these neutral topics that will improve everybody's life and basically give us our freedoms back. But it's going to take people in the system being willing to stand up. And that is on us, because we have to show them support as whistleblowers, which we don't often do. These politicians use them like puppets to get their 5-minute talking points, and then they discard them in their families. It's up to us to support the whistleblowers, and more will come forward.
100%. Yeah. And I just dropped the link here. This is the recent story that just came out yesterday regarding the pipe bomb. If any of y'all, and shocking, there's so many people who don't know about this because so little people are talking about it. It is a huge story, guys. Do not dismiss this. All right. I saw somebody else ask, was the pipe bomb real? No, there's no chance it was fucking real. There's no chance it was there all night. Somebody fucking planted it there that morning after the dogs and after the fucking security guys did a sweep. They're claiming they don't know who this person was. They have a person on video. Supposedly that was the guy who dropped the bomb. And this person supposedly got into a cab. So it means they had a cell phone, but they couldn't track. They managed to catch every single Joe Schmo and grandma going to the Capitol building, but they couldn't track this one single fucking guy walking around in the ass crack of the fucking morning in Washington, D.C. It's highly believed this guy's a government contractor.
What is the surveillance state for if they can't find somebody that is planting bombs outside of the DNC and the RNC?
Exactly.
What is the apparatus for?
Yeah.
They can catch every single one of us. Any single time one of us does something wrong, people go pray out at Planned Parenthood. They find them, they throw them in fucking jail. Somebody goes and just simply records a video outside the Capitol building January 6th, and they get fucking caught and thrown in jail. But you can't fucking catch an actual bomber. You can't fucking arrest somebody who's been plotting to kill the former president of the United States for years or months. They don't catch these fucking people. They let them get away with it. Yeah.
Well, and now
By the
think
way,
about this.
Oh,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
So think about this. The border situation has now become such a tremendous threat to our national security that it is currently threatening the life of a presidential candidate. If that is not a threat to our system, to quote unquote democracy, I don't know what is. So the situation at the border is directly correlated with all three of these foreign agents or agencies or groups that are targeting Trump, and the two domestic, which this is all according to Matt Gaetz and his DHS, mole, basically, or somebody that was telling him what is going on, and the fact that there's 5 groups targeting Trump. Now, what kind of a precedent is being set if all of this surveillance tech that we are paying for, that is being used to spy on us, can't find and isolate those motherfuckers and take them out like that? What good is the surveillance tech if they can't find the pipe bombers? What good is the surveillance tech if we can't get rid of these Venezuelan gangs in our country? What are we paying for? Because
it's for us. It's for us. We're the true enemy. We are the extremists. We are the white supremacists. We are the racists. We are the greatest threat to this democracy in this country can possibly be imagined. Let me get to here. I want to say Blue Cord already said member for 17 months, and he is a member of the You Went Full Retard membership. So love you, dude. Love you, Blue Cordell. Thanks so much. Member for 17 months. Peace and prayers, Adam, and everyone else. Watch you 6. Stay calm, stay armed. Have an early morning. Thank you so much, Blue Cord. I'm sure he's already gone by now. But I appreciate
it. For 17 months. That's an interesting number. And forgive me for saying, but you guys have a drink that you haven't taken yet. I'm keeping you on track. You just
I love it. Thank you very much. Because Lady D, knew for $20 says new here. Great conversation, but you all look a little thirsty. Cheers. I appreciate the fuck out of that. Let me go here. Let's find a good video to play for you. Because God knows we can't do a shot without playing a funny fucking video. Since we're talking about people being arrested and everything like that, I haven't played a Dermy video in a while. So let's watch Dermy get arrested.
Oh, poor.
Cheers, Lady D.
Mo, are you not drinking?
Oh, I'm totally drinking. I was way ahead of it. I'm Irish.
Oh, okay, cool.
I can just tell it's happening, so I do it. So.
Pretty dark hair for an Irishman.
Well, I'm also Swedish, so I conquer all of the things
Where's
and then
the
drink.
blonde? Yeah, I thought that would be blonde. I mean,
Where's the blonde?
Neither red hair nor blonde hair.
Sir, she is to your right.
Yeah.
The blonde is to your right. So.
All right. I think we're gonna move over to Rumble exclusive here in a bit because there is some stuff I really want to be able to talk freely about. Like I said, the circumstances of Jake here getting booted out of the Navy because he refused to take something. Like he said earlier, before it was cool. So everyone on there, I do want to hit up one thing before we leave, but I'm gonna give you guys some time. The link is in there. Scroll back up if you haven't. Click on that Rumble link and you'll find us at Vets Talkin. Drop the G and you'll find me. We'll be over there on Rumble exclusive here in a little bit. But before we do that, what was the one I want to do here? You know what? I completely fucking forgot which one I wanted to do. But you know, just for the hell of it, let's just play this because I love videos like this. Based ass dogs.
Hell yeah.
It's a good boy. That's a good boy.
Oh wow, that was
Wow.
Yeah, really
Really
going.
good.
Huh?
He's really going. He
Yeah,
waited. He waited for that.
Yeah, he saved it for the right
Couple
moment.
kicks in there,
Good.
too.
Yeah, he's scraping the dirt at it. That's great. Perfect.
I was gonna say the first half was relief. The second half was just dunking on her. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Oh, I fucking love it. Oh, look at this. Dr. Gold, member for 2 months. Hey, I'm glad that I could make this stream. Happy to have you here, Dr. Gold. I appreciate you, man. He's been saying a lot that he's happy to have found us. Thank you. I'm happy that you found us as well. Knife Hands. Thank you for being here, Andy Pickle. God, I swear I had one last thing I wanted to do, but I can't remember before we ship over to the ghost stuff. Yes. That's investigating paranormal. I do want to play at least the intro part of the 1 hour video that I just put up today on. Oh, excuse me. Look up at Vets Investigating Paranormal. It's on here on YouTube. Don't have a Rumble yet. But here is, especially because Jake here, I knew you'd be big into this. It's our chat. It is. I'm calling it the most unique paranormal channel out there because we're putting a military spin on investigating ghosts. There's no active channel that's out there. I found a couple, but they only put out like one video and then they gave up. We're going all in, baby. I put $1,200 into all the good fucking equipment, the REM pods, all the meters, and all that shit. And here is the intro that shows you the coming up of this video. Just to give you a tidbit of what happened in this investigation, Tombstone, Arizona, last year.
Look at that! Oh my God, it's like on fire in here. So just tap my hand.
Derby, are you praying?
I'm scared. Oh shit. Okay,
What?
something just fucking moved. Alright.
They gotta hang out, man. You gotta hang out if something happens.
Welcome, all you. All right, that's just a little tidbit to show you guys what's going on over there. That was an awesome time. We did a 4-hour live stream there at Tombstone, Arizona. This is before I had any aspirations to do a ghost channel, paranormal channel of any kind, and it did not disappoint. Like I said, there's multiple times where something was happening that it seemed very obvious that this the app that I was using to talk to ghosts was communicating with our panel. So like Dermy was there actually praying, and the fucking thing said scared because Dermy was scared out of his fucking mind. What do you think, Jake?
Did I hear somebody say you got to hang out if something happens? So that means
I was
like
scared.
Yeah, like well I know, but that means that here's the thing that I've experienced it myself when it comes to paranormal experiences is that you're like, oh, I want something to happen. And then as soon as something happens, you're like, I'm the fuck out of here. You know?
Right. It's legit, man. Because at that very moment, what happened was like I heard something move over there, and then when I got close, like I felt something, and it creeped me the fuck out. That's why I backed up. And then later on was when you see me using the FLIR, and that spot of that wall kept on like breathing fucking hot. It just kept on heating up, and my belief is that like area was like a portal of some kind, dude. It was weird.
The thing is, a lot of people died in Tombstone, and they died really agonizing deaths, or illegitimately brought to an end too quickly. That people dying of gunfights in the street or drunk. Like straight drunk guy shooting and somebody gets hit by a stray bullet. Like that happened a lot. So where it reminds me of. I'm sure you've seen The Shining, right?
Oh yeah.
Remember what the Scatman Carruthers, what guy was saying to Danny? He said, let's say somebody burns toast. Now the toast can be out of the room, but the smell of that toast can linger. And that's kind of what happens in these places, is that when there's a lot of trauma like that, or when there's a lot of death, then you can almost make portals because of that death. You can make a place where somebody's soul went to the other realm. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. When I did the investigation at Boot Hill Cemetery, there was a point I was smelling cigarette smoke, and there was no one smoking around there. So yeah, you're absolutely right. That dude, it's fucking nuts, man.
What's also tell me if you've experienced this, but what's also interesting is that it isn't all just like dead people floating around because they lived a short life. It's also things like echoes from the past, like what you're saying, like smelling of tobacco and stuff like that. So that could either be a person that smoked a lot of tobacco, or it could just be that an echo of something that happened there. And I also want you to keep in mind that Tombstone was a silver town, which means that there are silver mines in the area, which means that there's probably large amounts of electromagnetic vortexes in the area due to the large composition of metal in the soil.
Yeah. I took a tour of the silver mine there. It is, it's there's plenty more silver there. They just didn't continue. That's a crazy trip. Also, is going down that fucking that mine shaft. Yeah, that's fucking dope that you're into this shit, man. And also, especially because you are yourself a Navy veteran, it'd be awesome to do it around Arizona. There is so much crazy shit there. I want to go to Sedona so bad and do some fucking investigation up there. So at some point, hopefully, we can get together and
you let me know. I know some good spots I can take you that can give you a good experience.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome, dude. So yeah, like I said, I've got the link right there, Vets Investigating Paranormal. Please do check it out. I've got a video that's gonna be going up. I'm gonna have a professional editor doing that one. I actually edited the one that you just saw, which I'm kind of proud of it, but could be better. But I just did an investigation up in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and Death's Door, the peninsula there of Wisconsin, and so that's gonna come out some point soon. And then we are going to be doing some big time stuff. We got a lot of plans here in Wisconsin, here in Missouri. We're going to do the federal penitentiary in Jefferson City, known as one of the deadliest fucking places on earth. And I've got a place just 10 minutes away from me, the Haunted Castle House in Brumley, Missouri. So we got a lot of fun.
I'm trying to interrupt you. I just want to make sure, as a shamanic practitioner, I have a question for you, sir.
Sure.
What kind of preliminary activity are you doing prior to entering these areas and facilities?
Trust me, I do not take that stuff lightly at all. I take absolutely serious all the aspects of going into these kind of places and trying to and doing whatever you can to protect yourself. I just recently learned about Florida water. Apparently, is something that you can use. I've got sage and definitely. The idea of using, you create a powerful white light shield, crystal shield to protect you, and just all around just going in and saying like, okay, I want to communicate with you, but you are not allowed to come with me. You are not allowed to attach to me, all that kind of stuff. I will never mess around with Ouija boards, and I will probably never go to the Sally House in fucking Kansas because I've seen so many people. The Sally House is fucking creepy as fucking. Every single person who's gone there has had an attachment follow them afterwards. A very evil fucking thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking, because If you aren't careful, look at it like this. What we're talking about here is a spiritual, invisible ecosystem that exists just beyond the veil of our five senses. And just as there can be angels or butterflies and bunnies in the forest, there can also be lions or tigers and bears. You know, and yes, oh my, okay, and so the ecosystem that we're talking about, the spiritual ecosystem that we're talking about, is one where things can and will follow you if you aren't careful. I mean, I've heard of people getting attachments just by doing astral projection. So I'm glad that you're equipped and know what you're doing for the most part. Just know that certain areas are off limits or are taboo for a reason. And I would just say be careful, man, because I've experienced things of another worldly nature for an extended period of time, and it'll make or break you.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean, dude. I've dealt with some shit also that like has me absolutely fucking believe that you can't fuck around with this shit. You know, these idiots on like the show Ghost Adventures where they're inviting it in. They're saying, I want you to take over my body or shit like that. You're so
yeah, exactly.
dumb.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like they're doing it for entertainment, but they're not taking it fucking serious. You know, this shit really is legit. I mean, there are places around here, like I was talking to people here at Lake of the Ozarks, which you think about, there's a lot of fucking shit that happened here, especially when they flooded the place and everything. A lot of fucking energies going around here. There's certain places like that. So I was talking to somebody, there's two bars here that I go to all the time. One is Charlie Foxtrot's military bar that I've talked about on here. And there's always a positive energy there. Like I always feel very good in there. I was talking to the bartender. I told her about my new channel, and she's like, "Oh, there's a ghost in here, but it's like a child, and it's fun and whatever." I use the Spirit Talker app, which is skeptical on how it works, but there's a lot of intelligent stuff that came off of this app that indicates that there is a child there, and it's very playful. And it didn't want me to leave because, I was talking to it for the first time. No one's been able to talk to them. There's another place here. I won't say what the name of it is, but she told me the same thing. Like, yeah, that place, there's dark fucking energy there. And whenever you're in these kind of places for long periods of time, these dark energies, dark forces have the ability to just fuck with you, get into your fucking head. And there's everyone who works there, like they can be legitimately fucking miserable sometimes. And I think it's because they spend so much time in that place. And it's just another example, like we're saying, that there can be dark spirits that will just get in there and they'll lock into you and they'll get to you after an amount of time. They keep on manipulating your fucking head.
Yes, there are spiritual vampires, psychic vampires out there. And you guys have another super chat. Y'all better get to that drink there.
Yep. Actually, with the $10, what I'm going to do is, because we had a bunch of $2 and $5, I'm going to combine that with this 10. I'm going to make it another shot. Thank you, Iron Oxide. For the $10, says Adam, next time you're in our area, which is in Las Vegas, we'll take you to Pioneer Saloon in Good Springs, Nevada. Also, check out the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. I heard about that. I've been watching Paranormal Files, and I saw them do a thing in Eureka Springs there. That's a very decent drive away from me to get down there from Lake of the Ozarks. So I definitely will be checking that place out as well. So thank you very much.
If you ever come through Arizona, bro, you ever heard of the haunted hotel in Jerome, Arizona? It's like a little bit south of Sedona.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, dude, look it up. Jerome is a pretty haunted place here in Arizona. It's like one of the first towns in Arizona, like stretches way back, like to around the time of its founding. But yeah, there's a haunted hotel that lots of paranormal investigators have gone to. They also have one here in Phoenix as well, I believe, that you can check out.
Okay, fucking awesome, dude. And also because Iron Oxide, he lives in Las Vegas, not far from there either, so I can knock that all out in one trip. So fuck yeah, dude. Let's stay in touch, man. We'll definitely fucking make this shit happen, all right? So with that, though, let's fucking honor this with a shot. Thank you so much, Iron Oxide. And for all the other small super chats out there, appreciate every single one of you. You guys are keeping the lights on here and also making it so that I can do paranormal shit, man. I would not be able to do this without all of you guys' support. So with that, let's just watch Joe's being Joe's again.
That wasn't an approach.
Thank you guys so much. And with that, we are going to close things up here on the YouTube side. We'll go exclusively over to Rumble. The bot just dropped one right there. Click on that link. Head over to Rumble. Follow us over there. We can even get super chats to call them Rumble rants over there. So you guys can keep us drinking over there. We're coming up on 2 hours, though. I don't want to keep Jake up all night unless he's one of these guys that says, "Nah, let's keep on going," like Courtney did over there when she's drunk.
I
was having a good time.
If you give me a break, like 2 to 3 minutes, I can come back and give you more time.
Yeah, absolutely. Go do what you gotta do, and we will. Hold up, let's see. I don't know if this is for you, Mr. Nobody for 199 says, "An Army vet. I support vets drinking for money." All right, I appreciate that. Yeah, Jake, go ahead and do what you gotta do. At least for people over here on YouTube, they're not going to cross over. Where can everybody find you? And shit. All right, he's taking off. All right, well, his links are in the video description below, guys. Let me pull up his links here. I'll at least pull up his main channel. He's got a website out there. Please go support him on the website. It has all of his links in there. It is forbiddentruthacademy.com. Let me go over here, copy and paste this. And go. There you go. Okay, go check out and show Jake some love if you're not already following him. Go to forbiddentruthacademy.com. He is also at America Shaman on YouTube. On X, and Forbidden Truth on the Rumble side. So obviously, I think everybody here has figured out Jake is a fucking awesome dude. So if you haven't been following him already, please do show him some love over there. And with that, let's close this out over here on YouTube. I'm going to play the outro, but everybody on Rumble, don't leave. We'll be right back with you. And also, Courtney, where can everybody find you if they're not going over to Rumble?
You can find me on YouTube at Was That Courtney, and you can also find me Twitter and Instagram at Was That Courtney as well.
There you go. Please show her some love as well. She's been getting into streaming like every fucking day now.
Yeah, well, we've been reading Ted Kaczynski's manifesto and also doing karaoke. So depends on what you're into, but it's there.
Excellent. Love it. Mo, my twin. Where can people find you, dude?
Well, you can find me on the GCA youtube.com/@the GCA podcast. We are well above 600 subscribers right now. We've only been at it for 6 months. We are absolutely killing it. It's been really fun. But other than that, you can find me on YouTube on my own channel, which I'm going to start doing stuff on there. But I am trolling all the idiots, including the Canadian Mexicans that think that they know what the fuck they're talking about. The Canadian Mexican gassed up mids that think that they're smart, but they're actually fucking retards. Yeah. If you're in the fellowship, you know. Their comeuppance is coming, and it's making me very happy. So, follow me on X. There'll always be memes. That I might be some shitty takes, but I'm gonna give you the full-chested, full-throated.
Whoa!
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
The whole 9 inches.
All 9 inches.
Whole 9 inches. Holy shit! Oh, thank you.
All right,
thank you.
I
am Irish.
Close it up over here.
No! I'm gonna hold it up as long as I can. No. Go ahead.
Horny Alf, where can people find you, buddy?
Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Horny Alf. Just some jackass who likes to do game streams on my YouTube channel. You can also check out my X/Twitter, where I post about politics and pop culture. I'd like to especially hit on pop culture because pop culture is getting hit just as bad as politics is. And most of our franchises that we used to love and grew up with are getting ruined. And that's where I like to comment. But you can catch my YouTube channel. I do game streams. I'm at 500 and something subs. So I'm trying to get the watch hours. So if you can go check out my channel, if any of the games you like, check it out. But other than that, give me that like, follow, subscribe, and that's all I got.
Cool. Awesome. Appreciate you guys. And like I said, we're just going to move over to Rumble. So I'm going to play the outro right now. And again, if you're over here on YouTube, if you're not going over there, all the links for Jake is in the video description below. Show him some love. Yeah, that's it. All right, guys. See you over on Rumble. Everyone else, peace. Have a great night.